Hey everyone, it's Clint. Welcome to Sweetcast. And I kind of get tired of talking about people getting canceled on the internet, but every time it happens, I feel like somebody's got to say something. It happens too frequently, and honestly, I wish there was a little bit more self-reflection in the comic book industry. Not just the comic book industry elsewhere, but especially the comic book industry. It's kind of gross. So we're gonna get into one example here, and I think this one's a little bit different than other ones we've seen in the past, perhaps. But before we get into that, my comic book Fatal is on Indiegogo right now. We've got $41,000. And if you haven't backed it yet, please do check it out. The link's in the description below. This comic is fantastic. One of just the most beautiful books out there. So I think you're gonna like it. Check it out. Back it today. All right. So if you search the name Andrew Robinson, you're gonna see a lot of very angry people uh, at Andrew Robinson, and it's been going on and on and on and on. I think since yesterday or this morning. I'm not sure when all this started. Um, so it'll come down to, oh no, he said something terrible. What did he say? And then it becomes people clustering around and deciding that they're not going to buy his books anymore. And yeah, I just woke up to see statements floating around my feed. Who might this be? It's okay if you don't want to say it publicly. Andrew Robinson. Everybody's, it's this name's coming out. He's done something terrible. And really, what this comes down to is it's a guy. It is a uh, just somebody in the public that wasn't at an event, and he has an opinion on one video clip that he saw online, just like the rest of us do. Okay, if you saw and specifically I'm talking about the shooting video. Okay, and we'll get into what Andrew Robinson says as well. 17-year-old kid shoots three guys. You see the shooting. You see a fight breaking out. There are more than one gun involved. There is more than one gun involved, and yeah, it's just insanity. Okay, so seeing that video, you'd think, generally speaking, when something like this happens, I like to wait and find out what all the facts of the case are before I have an opinion. You know why? Because I'm a random dude. My opinion really doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. So I might as well wait and allow for all of the information to get out. Okay, having said that, if you want to have an opinion on an internet video of violence, you can do so. The problem is that in the comic book industry and probably elsewhere, it's predetermined as to who's the bad guy and who's the good guy. And if you say anything that goes against this narrative, then you ought to lose your career. You ought to not be a good artist anymore. You ought to be known as a terrible human being. This is what it comes down to. Not only that, but Andrew C. Robinson has never said that he's Comicsgate, or he's never specifically aligned himself with any group. He just is a guy with an opinion. I think there's a lot of people like this. They're not, you're just looking at something and you have an opinion, okay? And you're not going to go with the most extreme narrative available that's being force fed to you by the industry. You're just going to have an opinion. That's called being a regular person, and that's okay. It should be just fine. If it's okay for one person to post their opinion on the internet, it's very okay for another person. The difference is that there's this social policing and enforcement that happens online. All right, so here's Andrew Robinson, and if you don't know Andrew Robinson, I've never heard of him before this incident, and now apparently I'm learning a lot about him. But he works at DC Comics, or has worked at DC Comics. He started at Dark Horse, and it has worked on titles like Chain Gang War, Starman, Steel, Detective Comics. Later hired by Marvel Comics. Apparently, he's a really good artist. Okay, so put that in your hat, I guess. I don't know why you'd put it in your hat, but just do it, okay? All right, so part one. I posted my opinion about Kyle Rittenhouse. This is the 17-year-old that was, in the riots with a long gun, and he was attacked by a mob of people, and he shot three of them. Okay. In my opinion, he is brave. From all the video I watched, I see this teenager volunteering in Kenosha to protect local businesses from being burned down. This is part one. Now, this is a perspective. This is his perspective on a situation. And specifically, you're talking about at least two people with guns, Kyle Rittenhouse and the one dude that got shot in the arm. Another dude was trying to beat him over the head with a skateboard. It's still a deadly weapon. To make this just a case of, anyway, I digress. The point is, he saw it and he had an opinion. Okay, he's taking his context, everything he knows. He's seeing a video and he's formed an opinion, just like everyone else has. Okay. The problem is it goes against the mainstream narrative that's being pushed. Okay, so the thing that causes me pause is if you're going to cheer for one man with a gun that says he would wished he would have killed the other guy, he wasn't intending to kill him, or if you're rooting for the other guy that had a gun that shot and did kill people, what's the difference? If you just wanted somebody else to die, somebody else to have pulled the trigger, you don't really have any moral high ground at all. You don't. You're just hoping for a different outcome on a street fight with guns. It's crazy. So what should be the outcome of this? Well, a lot of people are trying to force him into saying that he's a member of Comicsgate. So now this means something more than he has an opinion, which would be fine if he wanted to. But if he doesn't want to, shouldn't matter. It's just a guy with an opinion that happens to make comics. So part two, he says, I saw this scared kid outnumbered and retreating, then defend himself. I do not like the destruction of small businesses as I see Amazon dominating every area of commerce. I respect peaceful protesters. I do not like to see, part three, average Americans watching their hopes and dreams in flames. I do not like to see people hurt or killed. It's all very horrific. And I wonder what I would do if my city were being destroyed. This is my perception of these events. I do not have all the facts. So it seems like a reasonable guy saying essentially all the same things that I just said. Part four. I respect that some may not agree with me and may be offended. Now, I'm going to pause there. If you're offended at his opinion, watching a video because it doesn't align with your opinion, if the guy with a gun that he has sympathy for is not the same guy with a gun that you have sympathy for, what should be the consequence? Is he telling you that you should not work in comics? Is he spreading your name around the internet to tell people that you've done something horrible? You're the only one that has done that. That is the difference here. Has nothing to do with which side you picked in an internet video. It has everything to do with what you're willing to do to enforce your opinion based off of this internet video when you don't have all the facts. At least he's willing to admit that he doesn't have all the facts. Like everyone should, none of us do. Okay, I speak for me. I am an individual. I do not speak for Essential Sequential, Image Comics, or any of my friends and associates. If someone needs me to be canceled, let that fall upon me alone. And here he is desperately trying to make this not be somebody else's problem. Only his problem. Part 5, he says, no one or group have influence over me, nor should they be held responsible for my opinion. Context matter. I hope this adds some peace. Thank you, first off, for not apologizing for having an opinion like everyone else is entitled to. I think this was a great response from him. And I think it underlines how despicable it is in the industry. He was not involved in the actual shooting. None of us were. 2, he has not gone out of his way to try and destroy anybody's career that disagrees with him. 3, not only that, he's willing to take the fall for his own opinion, unjustified fall for his own opinion. I could go on and on. This is ridiculous. This needs to stop. You can't say the comic book industry doesn't have a blacklist and at the same time get whipped up into a frenzy every time somebody expresses an opinion that's not approved. This needs to stop. Uh, and it won't. I've no expectation that it will stop. It's going to continue, and that is why if you find yourself in an internet mob trying to force people what to do, what to say, what to believe, you're going to find yourself out of a job. You're not going to be able to make comics. People are sick of it. I think the majority of people are sick and tired of it. It doesn't mean he's part of Comicsgate. He never said he is. He just has a reasonable and rational opinion. If that is extreme to you, maybe you need to look in the mirror and reevaluate your own positions. So it's infuriating to me. I'm just get sick of seeing this. So what did he do right? He did not apologize for having an opinion when no one else is expected to, and he's not begging for sympathy. You know, he clarified himself. He's not specifically like, you know, hey, trying to make money off of it or trying to, you know, somehow flip it into his own victimhood status. Nothing like that. So props. I didn't know Andrew C. Robinson. Now I do, and I'm happy I do. So I want to know what your comments are. Uh, will this ever stop? I don't think so. I don't know how do you fight against this kind of stuff? Instant cancel culture. How is it that more reasonable people don't speak out? Let me know in the comments below if you like this kind of content. Like and subscribe. And first and foremost, don't forget to check out Fatal. It's on Indiegogo right now, and I'm really excited to get this book out to you. It is going to be amazing. So thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.